What's up guys and welcome to my channel. So I got the Ducky Feather for review and I have to be honest that I did not quite know what to expect. I've had some good keyboards from them and I think that this is their second gaming mouse and their first lightweight gaming mouse. The specs and the dimensions looked great on paper, but let's go take a closer look and see the end result. So the Ducky Feather is a medium to small ambidextrous mouse and it has quite a flat profile. The shape altogether reminds me a lot of the FK2 and that's one of my all-time favorite shapes. Looking at the build quality of the Ducky Feather, it has basically no side flex, no top flex, and there is absolutely no creaking and no rattle. In hand the mouse feels very high quality and it's well built. It also weighs 65 grams. In my opinion, this weight is very good for a mouse this size. When opened up, the mouse top shell has some reinforcement, but not much. The bottom shell is quite standard, but it's somewhat thick at least. Companies have gotten a lot better in making lightweight mice and keeping the mouse still feeling high quality. And that is what Ducky has done here. The weight is quite low and the mouse feels very well built. The coating is very nice, it sort of feels like PBT plastic. I've used this mouse heavily for 2 weeks and there is no fingerprints or no sign of use. The sides of the mouse have holes and then they have this textured plastic. At least I do think it's plastic. I didn't find any actual info about this, but it does not feel like rubber to me. That's actually the only part of this mouse that feels sort of cheap to me. The holes on the sides are quite large, so if you grip the mouse in a way that your fingers touch them, be wary if you do not like holes normally, because I really doubt that you will like the feeling of these. The main mouse buttons are separated from the shell, and the switches are Huano blue dots. The click feeling is very premium, but the actuation force is heavy. For gaming, I would really want something that's easier to actuate. At times, I am having a little bit of a rough time trying to tap fire with these switches. Other than the actuation force, these buttons are really good. They feel very consistent no matter where you click them from. The left and the right button also feel exactly the same. But a negative aspect for me is the heavy actuation. Otherwise, I really like the feedback and the tactility of these buttons. The side buttons then again are not that great. There is quite a bit of pose travel on both of these buttons. The feeling is not premium, but they feel alright in games and in general use. The scroll wheel is very smooth, but it does not have very tactile steps. Actuation force for the scroll wheel button is sort of medium. It's not that hard, but it's not as easy as the XM1R for example. Easy to use in games if you happen to have it bound to some action. By the way guys, we just hit 3000 subscribers, massive thank you for you all. Now we are on our way to 4000, so if you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button and join the community. The sensor on the Ducky Feather is the 3389. I've checked out so many mice with this sensor and none of them have any issues. The implementation on the Ducky Feather feels very good for me, there is absolutely no acceleration and it feels very responsive. There is little to no DPI deviation and the polling rate is stable. Regarding configuration, everything that you want to do is done from the bottom of the mouse. There is a DPI button, a lift off distance switch and a polling rate switch. The cable on this mouse is a paracord-like cable, but it's not the most flexible cable on the market. It's not as flexible as the cable on the XM1R, but it's definitely more flexible than the Xtrfy Easy cord. The stress relief does have that nice upward angle, so the cable does not drag on your mousepad that much. It does sort of keep its shape, so you can set it up in a bungee quite easily. I myself did not have any issues with the cable dragging on my desk or my mousepad. In my honest opinion, I think this is a good enough cable. I used the mouse with a bungee and without a bungee and I had no issues. Moving on to shape. I did mention that this mouse reminds me quite a bit of the FK2. And that is very true, it has this flat profile and the highest point is on the middle of the mouse. The front of the mouse is also very low profile, which makes it easier to actuate the buttons for me at least. There is that same kind of curvature on the sides as on the FK2 and the sides are sort of flat. They are slightly slanted, but they do feel quite flat when you grip the mouse. For my kind of claw grip, these kind of shapes are really close to being perfect for me. When I'm clawing the mouse, there is a little bit of contact with the bottom of my palm and the mouse. My thumb is placed right below the side buttons and it's easy to use either one of these in game. And on the right side of the mouse there is enough room for all my fingers. This shape is also very good for fingertip grip, but I would not recommend this for palm grippers unless you have a small hand. If we compare this to the M42, I think the right side of the mouse has a little bit more room for your fingers. The hump also feels different for me. The Ducky Feather feels even more like an FK2 than the M42 does. The differences are there, but they are quite small though, and I think that if you like the FK2, you will also like the Ducky Feather and the M42. I'm a massive fan of these FK2 inspired shapes, And Ducky has done a great job with this one. By default, the Ducky Feather has 4 small feet. The feet are shaped like the old school IntelliMouse 3.0 feet. I did not find specification about the material of the feet, but these seem 100% PTFE. The glide is very good with these. For example, the experience is very good on my Artisan Hayate version 2, and my high-end, and my Esports TIger Neon pad. You also have an option to use larger feet, and these are included in the box. And you also get an additional set of the small feet. For stock feet, these are actually quite thick, and these are one of the best feet that I've tried. They won't fit into my top 3, but I think they will easily go into the top 5. Oh yeah, by the way, this mouse has really nice RGB though, if you care about that. But so, how did I actually perform in-game with the mouse? Well, my in-game performance was exceptional. That never was a surprise to me, as the shape is just so familiar and so good for me. In my personal top 5 mouse list, this goes to second place. In my opinion, the Ducky Feather and the Xtrfy M42 are the 2 best flat profile medium to small sized mice. If you have the FK2 but you want to upgrade, get either one of these 2 and you will be happy. For me, the M42 still feels better, but not by much. The buttons on the M42 are easier to actuate, and that's pretty much the only thing that makes the difference for me. The shape on the M42 feels a tiny bit better for me, but I don't think this makes any difference if I use either one of these mice for about 2 weeks. All in all, the shapes are so similar. One thing that might make your buying decision easier is that the Ducky Feather is actually wider than the M42. One thing that does battle against the Ducky Feather is the price though. In Europe this is quite expensive, as it costs about 75 euros in here. US customers can actually buy this for $59, and that's a very good price. Us Europeans are just getting screwed over by these prices. So that's pretty much it for the video. Big thank you again for Max Gaming for providing me with the review sample. If you are European and you want to buy the Ducky Feather, Max Gaming is one of the best places to do so. But if you like the video, hit that like button. If you enjoy my content, hit that subscribe button, and see you in the next one.